Guys, so I want to take you guys over to the charts and look at Palantir on today. Now, if you saw the video that I posted, well, the short or depending on where you may be seeing this, the real short threads, whatever. I talked about how people don't quite understand how Palantir, in a sense, is considered a defense stock. Now, when I was talking to the group of people about it, it was like I thought this was an AI stock. Like, how do they tie into defense? The thing is this, they are the ones behind the entire military AI, ISIS immigration OS, their system that they have that determines who get deported first. They also have things to where it integrates with the DMV to create profiles on immigrants. And this just allows them to track, keep up, locate them, all of that. Okay. So Palantir is really the backbone of a lot of the military AI surveillance and sensor data infrastructure that they have from Space Force, the Navy, from the Army as a whole, the Pentagon, the entire Defense Department. Okay. And funny enough, when I made that post, yesterday, um, Trump made this post here on his True Social page, and we are going to go look at that really, really quickly. Okay. And it says here Palantir Technologies, PLTR, has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemy, President DJT. I made that particular post, okay, but just share out of the conversation that I had with them, and pretty much kind of explaining the groundwork of Palantir. And the thing is, okay, they have billions of dollars in contracts from the US government to even create these platforms for them. The Pentagon that they have and ICE, they got $30 million from ICE to create that immigration OS. They also have millions of dollars from the Army. Of course, we know about the Pentagon integration for their I want to say mass surveillance, but technically that's what it is, surveillance, sensor data, all of that. So Palantir is the groundwork of it. They are heavily integrated into the defense of the US, okay? The defense, military, and all of the things that we use for to track. Honestly, they look at it tracking like soldiers and of course probably us, but hey, they say that's not what it's for, but we already know how that goes. So that's where Palantir is, okay? Now, when Trump made that particular post, it wasn't no heavy movement that took place with Palantir on Friday. But I talked about this in my pre-market live with my Patreon, and we were looking at it getting back to that $126 mark, or if it broke below that, I had my zone there that I wanted everyone to watch, okay? So what I want to do is take you guys to the charts and show you guys exactly what I was looking at, what I showed them. And also I've already made my move on Palantir on Friday. I'm over here and we are going to get this thing up so that we can look at these charts. And I also want to show you guys a really, really good spot that you can still watch, although we did hit that mark and we did kind of see this thing make its way back up. I definitely want to still give you guys some things to watch as far as the price potentially retesting or some levels that it can hit. Okay. Right now, I'm on a daily time frame. And so I'm actually going to go up to the weekly just to take some of these candles off and take you guys back to where I got my level. And we go here, going all the way back to the week of February 18th. Okay. What do you see? We have here this resistance that it was hitting up at about 125.41, a few cents short of that 126 area. Now we came down, we came back up, and this little area here was pretty much acting as a support where it wasn't breaking. Same thing up in here. We just see those touches and those plays around those same area and around that 132. Now, when something breaks support, it becomes resistance. When something breaks resistance, it becomes support. And so we saw how the price pushed up, held above that 147 for a while, or this little zone here, came back down. And where did it come back and test? 126, right up in here. Over the course of about 4 weeks, it did not fall below that 126. Now, we see here we pushed back up, okay, right around that 161 area and came back down. Now, let's go back to this daily time frame to look at where this thing went. So, come down. Let's bring that over. And we came and we broke below that 132 and it broke below 126. Now, this is the thing when it comes to seeing wicks get below a certain area. Unless it closed below that area, that means that the buyers and sellers did not agree to the price down there. They tested it, but they didn't agree to a point where we had a body close below. But it did fall into this little box here that I had as my buy zone, and it went down to about 122.68. And we saw this thing push back up. Now, was that heavily in tune to Trump's post that he made on Truth Social? Some of that reaction could have been there, but we've seen Trump post about certain things and the stock just shoot up, and or the market may shoot up. But in this case, it wasn't such a drastic response just yet. I don't know if things can kind of come in a bit slower, things start making its way back up, but it wasn't like a drastic jump. Okay. But I did get in on this trade on Friday because that very level here that I was looking to see that they test again, we hit it perfectly. And then, of course, we came down a little bit more. And so, what you can watch now is to see that. Let's bring this up. This is on the 4-hour time frame. We came down in here. It popped up in there again, and it kind of retested right back around this same area here before we closed out on Friday. And so that right there was the area that I was looking to execute on this trade because of how heavy that 126 area holdup was. But a lot of times we can't just look at one specific number. Gotta watch a zone. And in this case, my zone was 126 to 118. And so getting that down up in here was definitely good on my end because we got a little bit lower. We held up above it. We pushed up, retested that area again, and held up before close. And this is a longer term trade. Okay. I have this thing for months out on my expiration. So it's not something I'm looking to get in and get out of. Honestly, depending on what things are looking like come Monday, I may even add to it. And especially if we do come down a little bit more, attempt to retest around that 126 area, I just may average down to add some more contracts and let this thing just continue to run. Okay. So that 126 area was definitely heavy on the radar. Okay. That one was where I felt like we get back there, this thing could go. And of course, you set your targets wherever you feel comfortable. And if it wasn't 126, then 118, getting a little bit further down there, would also be a decent place to kind of watch. But the levels will always tell you where is a good spot to execute by going further to the left. And not just where to execute, but where to potentially get out of your trades. Okay. So I hope that you guys can go to this one and find you some opportunity here for play. And this could definitely be not very expensive, but you have to remember that the further you go out on your expiration date, the higher things get. And then, of course, when you want to be in the money or deep in the money, those options get really expensive. So depending on what your game plan is, depending on how long you plan on holding that trade, that's solely up to you. There could definitely be some short-term opportunity there to also make a move on this thing simply because, it's still in that same arena. So depending on what it looks like come Monday opening, it could have a nice run. Okay. So I hope this helped. I hope you guys find some opportunity in this thing. And of course, feel free to let me know how the play go for you if you decide to make a move. I hope this helped.